What's next? Are we going to hear about story, or are we going to hear about
Oh,
Remy?
we're going right into story, and then we're going right into production. And I am so
Yeah.
excited about the story because I finally knocked it down to 2 pages.
Yay! Woo! And the crowd goes wild.
Oh.
Tell me about the story.
All right. Open on a wandering vagrant, singing and narrating the story of how he came to believe in magic. One day, he decided to do a B&E on the home of a woodcarver.
Yeah, that's never like. Why is he the conscience if he decides to squat in this like woodcarver's place? He's like
He's
licking.
We'll get to that. But the home of the woodcarver is the maker of, in the home of the woodcarver is a maker of fine music boxes and clocks, including duck pond clock, town drunk clock, and child abuse clock.
Oh yes,
Those are my favorites.
clock.
This is Geppetto, lonely old man, lives with his neurotic cat Figaro and flirtatious fish Cleo. He's just finished up a brand new marionette, Pinocchio, which he uses to terrorize his pets. I like that we came up with the same one, same hat.
Same hat, same hat.
The cat is freaked, the fish is into it, concerning. Just before bed, he does the relatable sleepover bit of carrying on a conversation well past bedtime, albeit with Figaro, and wishes that Pinocchio could be a real boy. The wish is heard by the Blue Fairy, who floats down to Earth and grants his wish, because old G-Man is such a nice guy. She does this by turning the puppet into a soulless homunculus that feels no pain, breathes no air, and needs no sleep, then sticks him with the responsibility of figuring out his own way on how to become real. He, unlike me, is overjoyed to be burdened with the gift of life, but doesn't know diddly crap. This infuriates our narrator, James Cricket, who swoops on down to berate the young boy, thusly dropping him into a situation where he is too flustered and turned on by the Blue Fairy to refuse when she offers him the job of being the official conscience for this boy. That's where it comes from.
Hey man, this ain't no B movie.
This ain't no B movie. No, it's a cricket movie. Come on, pay attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so through a jaunty little tune, Jiminy Cricket teaches Pinocchio how to ask for help and how to whistle, waking up the whole damn house. Geppetto, unnerved by the prospect of a strange, whistling, cackling intruder, retrieves a whole-ass gun from under his pillow. When he finds out that his puppet son is now alive, he's overjoyed and has a whole-ass celebration, then promptly tells him he has to go to school tomorrow because enrollment doesn't exist in the lawless anarchy of rural Italy. On his way...
Not.
No, absolutely not. On his way to his very first day of classes, Pinocchio is met with, and I shit you not, this is never explained, a fast-talking anthropomorphic fox named Honest John, and his bumbling mute anthropomorphic cat sidekick, Gideon.
They're just there.
They're just there. It's never explained. Don't worry about it. Listen,
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry. The pair smell an investment opportunity and trick him into wanting to be an actor, which is a ruse to sell him to the local traveling racial stereotype and part-time puppeteer.
Which, by the way, I just wanted to say, I love the fact that they keep dunking on actors, just like constantly. It's so funny. Like twice, like one time, it's like, what does an actor need with a conscience anyway?
I love that line. It's so relevant modern day.
I know, and then whenever he gets saved from Stromboli, Pinocchio's like, yeah, I'd rather be smart than be an actor. It's like, Disney, come on. Whatever writer wrote that clearly has multiple actor friends that he wanted to piss off.
Absolutely. Oh my god, he's like, I wrote something special for you, topical actor of the time, Orson Welles.
I was going to say Cary Grant.
Cary Grant, that's a good name.
Yeah, he's a...
Harpo Marx.
Harpo Marx. Yep, that's definitely one I know.
That's a name that you're aware of now.
Mm-hmm. Now.
Anyways, Jimbo the Grasshopper is late, and so he barely reaches Pinocchio in time to explain that those men are bad and going to school is right, and that because he's the conscience in this relationship, what he says goes. Pinocchio does the most real boy thing of all and ignores the advice of his conscience, leaving him behind. When Jiminy next sees his little wooden boy, he's dancing and singing on stage with some sexy racial stereotype puppets in a smash hit show. The show is such a big hit, that James P. Cricket just goes and abandons Pinocchio for the first time.
For the first time.
Pinocchio, after a brief and pleasant chat, finds out that he has been sold into slavery to this Judeo-Romani offense, and goes into full panic mode and fear mode as he and his life and livelihood are threatened. Meanwhile, Geppetto goes out searching for his son, missing him by inches as Jiminy decides to say goodbye, only to find the horrifying state Pinocchio is in. Unable to free him, they are happened upon by the Blue Fairy, who asks, "What's up? What's poppin'? Why aren't you in school getting bullied by cruel children who either can't or won't understand that you are a fleshless monster?" Pinocchio does the logical thing and lies to the woman that gave him life, only to find his nose grow into a full-on branch, birds and blooms.
And I want to say here too, I noticed that he doesn't just lie, he's also told to lie by Jiminy Cricket. Jiminy specifically says, "Hey, leave me out of this."
He does tell him to lie, but he tells him to tell him the truth, but tells him to lie, immediately after.
Yeah, what the hell?
This
his conscience is telling him to lie.
I mean, to be fair, this is a very good interpretation of a human conscience relationship in early life.
That's true.
Anyways, the nose growing is one of the most famous bits of the lore, by the way, but it only ever happens once. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did notice that. I was like, why didn't it happen more often?
Yeah, it threatens to happen again later, but this is the thing that Pinocchio is known for. His nose grows when he lies. But I think that it's just the Blue Fairy made his nose grow in this situation because she knew he was lying, to teach him a lesson. And that lesson is that good people never lie under any circumstance ever. And then she tells him she can't help him anymore after this, remember that, and frees him. Meanwhile, in the bad part of town, Honest John and Giddy are getting sauced up with a pleasant old English coachman whose name is literally Foulfellow. I looked this up and I learned it after learning it. No, I learned it on an episode of House of Mouse. His name is literally just Foulfellow.
Huh.
It's apt because he's...
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's hiring them specifically to kidnap stupid little boys to take to Pleasure Island.
Oh, God. That's just the worst. It's bad specifically because you can tell it's bad because our dastardly characters who have sold Pinocchio into slavery 2 times at this point are sweating.
This will be the second time they sell him into slavery.
Yeah, they're like panic sweating. Like Honest John and Ian are like clutching each other, terrified, and like they literally even say like, "Oh, I don't know about that." Like
they're concerned about the law at this point. These guys who sold a boy into slavery are concerned about the law now,
and are laughing about selling him to slavery. So that's it's bad.
So naturally, they dupe Pinocchio a second time. This time into a vacation. Where on the way, on the coach that the coachman is driving, Pinocchio meets Lampwick, a cheeky and incorrigible jerk kid. To become best friends, and on Pleasure Island, it's Lampy who introduces him to the ultimate vices of smoking, picking fights, and playing pool. In fact, playing pool is so bad that when Jiminy discovers Pinocchio doing exactly that, he abandons him a second time.
As you do.
As you do. I think you pointed this out when I was talking about it while we were watching about it, that it's not that it couldn't possibly be the things that the pool hole represents. It's just playing pool that's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just I just don't understand I don't understand it. Like just the obsession. I guess it's like with video games nowadays where people are like, don't play video games, they're bad for you. Like, but
right, yeah. It's I believe pool is depicted then as video games are depicted in the early 2000s.
Boom. There you go. Connection.
So yeah, while Jiminy is abandoning Pinocchio, he discovers the worst thing ever of all time.
Oh, it's awful.
Get ready for this. I'm just gonna get this out of the way. I know of certain circles of people who have a fixation, shall we say, with transformation, and a lot of them attribute an early experience with transformation in a cartoon as something that gave them this fixation. Hang on to your socks, because we're about to explore the polar opposite of that. Foulfellow is sorting out donkeys in clothes by asking them their name. If the donkey brays, he rips off the clothes and shoves them in a crate. If the donkey gives them a name and cries for their mama, he throws them in a pen and terrorizes them. Meanwhile,
He doesn't terrorize them specifically. He just throws them in a pen, like, with the implied intention of later disposing of them.
Yeah.
Because they're defective.
He lets them sit and think about it. Throw them back. He's going to make them do some more terrible stuff so that they can not talk and throw them into a pen later.
We don't know that. We don't know that. All we know is that the donkeys, this is one of the things I'm talking about, when the donkeys like bray and they can't talk, they're sold to the circus or whatever. And so those are like the proper specimens, but the ones that talk are defective. The spell didn't take place. So he throws them in a pen, presumably because they are the duds, with no implication that he's going to fix them, no implication that he's going to do it over again. I would argue that there's a stronger focus that he's either going to imprison them forever or cull them.
I don't like that even more.
I don't like that. That's why I wanted to say it, is because it's not even like, oh, I'm gonna terrorize you. No, that's too light of a sentence for what is going on here.
Right, yeah, but at this point we still haven't talked about where talking donkeys come from. And
oh yeah, why didn't you tell where talking donkeys come from?
Well, I was just about to get into that.
Okay, get into that.
All right. So meanwhile in the pool hall, Lampwick discovers he's turning into a donkey and screams in horror and fear for his mother as he is forced to become a jackass. If that wasn't enough, Pinocchio is watching this, and then he sprouts ears and a tail himself and freaks out. The whole thing is an absolute nightmare. Like, and I it's important for me to point out, like, everything with Stromboli, terrifying. Everything with Foulfellow, terrifying. This transformation sequence, terrifying. This has been a terrifying movie. So yeah, but hey, right at the nick of time, Pinocchio is found by Jiminy, who's come back to save him, helping him swim from the island to the shore. How do they swim all that way? Listen, don't worry about it. He's a homunculus who breathes no air. So, finally, after all this time, Pinocchio thinks maybe I should just listen to Jiminy when he says that the world is a nightmare and I should be at home. However, when they get back home, Geppetto's workshop is boarded up and long abandoned. A magical dove sent by the Blue Fairy to help them, the same Blue Fairy that said she wouldn't help them, informs them that Geppetto took his cat and fish to go out and look for Pinocchio and got swallowed by a whale. Monstro the Terrible Whale. Pinocchio does the only logical thing and ties a rock to his tail so he can explore the ocean floor and find his father. He does, by being consumed by Monstro, the Terrible Whale. There he has an emotional reunion and the brilliant idea to start a big smoky fire to force the whale to sneeze them out. This, of course, infuriates Monstro, the Terrible Whale, who chases them, cornering them in front of a cliff to try and murder them. If this part isn't very funny, it's because this scene genuinely terrified me the most. I reacted with genuine fear that was embedded deep in my childhood. Like, I was looking at this... It was like I was looking at this for the first time as like a 4-year-old boy watching this for the first time. And I was like, oh no, this affected me later in life. so
I
anyway.
hope this doesn't awaken anything in me. It does. Absolute primal fear.
God, I wish you weren't right.
It goes both ways, man.
It does. It does.
Bad. All right, what happens after Monstro?
Well, after Monstro, Pinocchio, by the way, during Monstro, Pinocchio narrowly saves Geppetto by swimming him through a hole in the cliff. Figaro and Cleo and Jiminy are okay too. Pinocchio, who swam from an island to shore, who set his hand on fire and felt no pain, who walked on the ocean floor, drowns in this process. How? Don't worry about it. Why? So the camera can focus on his drowned corpse for a maximum of horror.
Which is
Don't worry
awful, by the way. It's literally just him lying face down in a pool, motionless, and
for 3 seconds straight.
So there's nothing else there. There's no like Geppetto going, "Oh my boy, my boy." It's literally just like a still shot of Pinocchio lying face down. Like
the water is moving, things are bobbing around him. He's just motionless in the water for 5 seconds straight.
It is just like it cracks you right down in the to see it. It's awful.
But listen. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, because as soon as they get him home, the magic of the blue fairy echoes through the room, turning Pinocchio into a real boy, giving his father such a huge case of emotional whiplash that I'm surprised his neck doesn't snap. Yeah. As they celebrate, Jiminy is rewarded for his good work with a gold badge, and he reprises his tune from the beginning of the film as if we weren't all traumatized by now.
I want to believe that since he's a vagabond, he literally just turns around and pawns the gold badge.
That's why he specifically asks for a badge, solid gold,
so he can pawn it. So he can sell it.
Yeah, get rid of this. I need money for a new tent.
Mm-hmm. Buy himself a pretty human-looking doll.
He does have a fixation with pretty human-looking dolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with the blue fairy.
And
oh man, giantess fetish.
Yeah, well, just human woman fetish, which is weird.
Yeah, that's still equally weird. He's a cricket and he likes human women.
Yeah, he's like a weird cricket, which I actually mentioned in my thing.
You did. Same hat.
Same hat.